What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Venomcast. This is take 2 because 2s are
1, 2. Hold on, John. Are we talking? Like, you see the little bar?
We're live.
No, not we, us, me and him.
Yeah, you guys are live.
Okay,
you
just
guys
hear
are,
me as well.
You guys are live. So, yes, we had some technical difficulties about an hour and 3/4 into our last recording session.
I realized that in the middle of that cast, which they can't hear, I accused you of being bad with technology.
This is also true.
This is why. So we are live. I'm John K. If you're new around here, which if you're watching this and you're not a part of Venom, that's not necessarily weird, but welcome. Hi.
Hi.
Watch us on Tuesdays on Turn 200, one of our lovely sponsors of this here podcast. I'm your host, John. This is my good friend Luke down below me, driver of the number 38 truck. And then over here is relatively new to the scene, but a very quickly rising star, Mr. Josh Modacek, driver of the number 60. It is Modacek, even though it looks like Modacek.
Yes. I always tell people it's Mott's, like Mott's applesauce.
Mott's applesauce.
Oh, nice.
Easiest way.
That is easy. Yeah. Thank God I have an easy name for people to pronounce. It would be a nightmare. I'm bad at giving directions, bad with technology, bad with just about anything, honestly. But yeah, Josh is in season number 2. Did you win Rookie of the Year last season?
I did not. That was Mr. Engrave.
Oh, yeah. That's
it was hard. It was hard to compete with.
Yeah, it was hard to go against that
boy
one.
for Rookie of the Year.
So were you second then?
I presume I was next rookie in points as well. I think. No, Freed was in the chase. Josh Freed was in the chase.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Okay. So it would have been him.
It was a very competitive rookie class.
I guess so. No kidding. Well, yeah. Josh Modacek, rising star in Venom. Very quick, very good driver. Real life racer. Started out that way. We did all this already, so this is going to be interesting to see how this goes on take 2. Josh, tell the people a little bit about your real life racing background.
So, real life racing background. My dad, back in the 80s, he went around with his brother-in-law, racing sprint cars. He owned a dirt track at one point, and was champion, track champion, series champion, whatever. So my dad, was practically raised in it as well. I mean, what else are you going to do in the South but go dirt tracking, right? So, when I was born, it just natural that he took me everywhere. I think my only 2 NASCAR races I have attended were in the womb, and that was Atlanta and Michigan. So fun fact about myself. But started going to the dirt track races. I can remember, being covered by a blanket, sleeping sideways on the bleachers while sprint cars were running their features, like just passed out. But we were in the pits one night, and sprint car driver was like, "You should get him in go-karts." So got into dirt go-karts. Just raced that. Started when I was 5. In that, we raced all over Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Then when I was 7, I was diagnosed with a cerebral brain aneurysm, so we had to take a slight hiatus from racing. And then once I was cleared from that, we went two-wheeling, motocross racing, raced motocross for a couple years, and took a couple of nasty spills over the bars, almost breaking my neck once. So I was like, we'll go back to 4 wheels and just stick to staying on the ground. So went back kart racing, and when I turned 12, a couple of friends had gotten into street stocks and whatever. So, well, let's get a dirt track car. So we got a little Honda 94 Honda Prelude. And that was how I learned standard. Front wheel drive. I mean, ripping. I was the youngest driver to compete in a series at our local track. So race that when I was 13. We got a factory stock. got a couple of good finishes in that, and just kind of kept going up. When I was turned 14, we got into modified racing, limited mods, or as a lot of up north would be like a E mod, um, or IMCA E mod or whatever. But very quickly went up and was racing open wheel mods, A mods. Raced till I was 20 in that, 21, 2019, something like that. And we got a late model for last season. And so, yeah, I mean, pretty much at a dirt track every weekend. Wouldn't miss it if I wasn't racing, just showing up, watching, pit crewing for people. But I mean, dirt tracking, it's a livelihood, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's man. I mean, like I know for me and Luke, this is the second time we've heard it, but it's still so cool. Like
It's neat.
I wish we had a. It would have ended up being a little 4-cylinder car when I was a kid, probably about I want to say 9 or 10. We got it. It didn't have a motor or anything in it, and nothing really ever came of it. Which is probably one of the things we ended up going into mud trucks instead, which was cool. But like, still, there's that part of me that's like, I grew up watching NASCAR and stuff, so I was like, I had a chance to race on asphalt, never got a chance. But yeah, that's sick. I mean, you've gotten to live a lot of people's dreams doing that. Like even like, I mean, racing at a pretty high level, you're racing late models and A mods and stuff. That's for a long time. The A mods are one of my favorite cars to watch. When I went to the dirt track, the couple times I went. So what's the transition like going from real life dirt racing to iRacing asphalt?
It's interesting. You know, a lot translates, a lot doesn't. I think a lot of the race etiquette when it comes to like, sporting code and everything, that it, translates identical. You know, there's some things on asphalt like dirt, you don't have wave arounds, you don't have lucky dogs, like you go a lap down, you're SOL pretty much, like you're out of it. So it's a lot more intense in that aspect. But it translates pretty closely. Obviously, you're not sideways most of the time, um, which is definitely a big thing to get used to. But I feel like that definitely helps me on short tracks. Is dirt racing is throttle control, especially with A mods. Like you're 700-800 horsepower on a 8-inch factory stock tire, so like you really have to have throttle control to, especially on dirt. So I feel like that is one thing that helps me be competitive on short tracks, is I had that real life experience for throttle control and working the small tracks and putting the car into a gap that it's probably a little too big to fit into, but making it work. And things like super speedway racing, I never watched NASCAR really growing up. So super speedway racing just blew my mind with what the draft can do when you're side drafting, and if you fall back out of the draft, 20 laps out of the draft and you're getting lapped. Like it's pretty insane what the draft can do on asphalt going that quick.
I was actually interested because, so I didn't mention this the first time. The only real life racing experience I ran dirt go-karts too. Did you run a fixed go-kart or did y'all actually build your motor and run it?
We did both. So
okay,
there was one point when we had 3 different carts. So I ran age restricted, which was purple plate and blue plate restrictor plate racing, which was purple plate was 5 to 7, blue plate was 7 to 12, I think. And then we ran what in our area was junior open. So that's anything under, I think, 16 years old, with a lot more lenient engine rule. You could do some more stuff. No restrictor plates. And then I also ran champ carts in those respective classes. So there'd be some, like Maxis national races that we'd show up with 3 different carts, run junior open, come off the track, hop out of the cart, hop in another cart, and go right back onto the track in another class.
But that made me think of it though. We ran weight limit fixed cars, so everybody was equal. It's supposed to be driver talent, right? How do you feel about open versus fixed races? Because Venom is obviously a C fixed lobby, but there are so many open races. Do you enjoy being able to tinker with the car more, or do you like just the talent of driving the vehicle?
Honestly, in iRacing, I prefer running fixed races just because a lot of what I do enjoy running, I have no clue what the setup is. Like when it comes to asphalt racing, I'm just like, sure, like I know what these things are, don't know what they do. Like dirt racing, I'll jump into a couple, B and C class open races, just because I have a more knowledgeable background in that. Like I understand what changing your J-bar angle and your bar heights and everything does, but yeah, I'm definitely a fixed. Like I enjoy jumping in, knowing everybody is even, and knowing that like if I beat someone, it's because I actually worked to will the car to be faster than them.
You outdrove them. I like it.
Speaking of winning, rookie season last year, one of the best drivers down the stretch when it came to consistency and points wise, ended up winning Talladega in the chase in your rookie season. And like you just talked about, you not really having, being new, not just to iRacing, but also like super speedway racing in general. How awesome was that? Because like obviously I've won. It is what it is.
A few times.
Luke is now a winner. That's what I was excited to get to. But how's it feel knowing that like, and I mean like, as much as we talk about like plate races being a crapshoot, and you hear them talk about that in NASCAR too, and there is some skill that goes into it, and knowing like when to make the move at the right time. So like, just kind of walk us through that. That win at Talladega.
Talladega win. Honestly, I didn't even realize that I had won until we were like on the backstretch after the checkered. So there was a caution with about 6 to go. I think I restarted 6th or 8th. I was on the outside row towards the front. And we had been working with ICR that race. So it was, me, Jan, Cole Maxwell, Tyler Burgett was up there with us. I want to say that Brantley Gainey was up there with us too. Yeah. So we had a lot of help up there, and I think it was, I want to say it was Hayden and Engrove who are the only other 2 who are up there in the top 6 or 8. So we restarted and we're shuffling around, and I'm on the bottom pushing, trying to push Jan to the win because he's in the chase obviously, and I'm not. So like if I can, help him, being that we're working with him, whatever, he's all the better for it. Like I can only get so high in points, and we ended up on the outside. I saw Cole Maxwell. We're on the backstretch coming to the checkered. Cole Maxwell comes out of line. Burgert follows him, so I jump out from behind Jan and Gainey to the third line, and we get a massive run down the backstretch. Rolling into 3, I was able to get down the track and block Engrave with the run, and really that was it. We rode like that in the bottom row to the line, and I remember looking in my mirror and watching Jan dive off, down to the infield asphalt, and thinking, oh, like what happened? Like he's jumping out, like he must be too hot or something. I keep it floored after the line. I mean, until halfway through turn 1.
My man is not watching one to go. He's just full send, keep digging
straight ahead. So we get about halfway through 1, and I realize everyone's slowing down. So I, lift and start slowing down. Everyone starts coming around me. I'm like, is it a caution? What happened? Like, oh, the race is over. And still not even clicking that I was leading at the line. And we get around the backstretch, and people are coming up and revving next to me, and I straight up, I was like, well, who won? And Tyler Berger was like, I think you did, buddy. And I kind of started setting in. But it was wild, winning at a super speedway, rookie season, second ever, well, third ever, super speedway race with an organized group. Like, it's definitely an insane feeling. Like, I will hold that till the day I die.
Yeah, one of my favorite things was I got volunteered to be in charge of trophies this past season, and it was super cool because like I didn't really know you that well. But I think this is when we started talking more. When I sent you your trophy, and you sent me a picture of it, and it was right up there. It's right up there with all your like stuff you won in real cars, and I'm like, and you told me you're like I'm just as proud of this win as I am like any of my wins in an actual race car, and that made me like, I was like, dang, like if a dude that raced actual race cars like holds this in such high regard, like it doesn't make me feel near as nerdy as I do when I'm like, oh yeah, I got a race Tuesday, like when I'm at work and I'm like, people are like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm like, obviously I'm at work right now, but like after this, I'm gonna go hop on my computer and race internet race cars.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. Like to have somebody that has real life trophies and be like, yeah, it's right there with them. It's like that blew my mind.
To me, it's just all about what you enjoy. Like,
right,
I enjoy sim racing just as much as I enjoy real life racing. So I mean, it's experience is experience. Like, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
I think the exclusivity of the Wing Club is really neat because if you look at it, I think I counted them right, and you throw me and Hayden in, there's 27 individuals who have won in Venom, and that's over probably a couple hundred guys who have been in and through and out at least. So we have about 30 that start a season, so you probably 200 guys, maybe 150. So not, I mean, it's an elite club on top of that. But the other thing that I think is hilarious there is the complete opposite of him coming to the line and winning a race at Talladega and me coming to the line and winning the race at Vegas. I am counting down the laps to the end of this race at Vegas. I am staring at that thing, and was it Freed that was behind me? I don't remember, but I'm watching like the relative the entire time, and I'm like, please God, put the white flag in the air. I want to be done with this. And Josh was like, I was riding, man. Like, I'm in turn one wide open. I'm like, why is everybody slowing down? We got to keep going.
Still right.
Yeah, that's funny because people like, I think Tommy said it on the broadcast this past week, which we'll get into in a minute, but I was still like turning laps. Tommy's like, what the heck's he doing? And that's just something, I don't know why, but that's like I've always run like two extra laps, like 2 cooldown laps after checkered flag if I win a race. I don't know.
Honestly, that's actually a dirt racing thing. Like, especially if you get green flags runs in dirt racing and long races, you'll get guys who are, still racing their laps that are 2 or 3 laps down, and the leader will take the checkered and run another 2 or 3 laps with the lapped cars before everything settles down.
You know why they do that? You don't want to be Mark Martin. You don't want to pit with a lap still left in the race.
That's fair. Yeah. I didn't even. I'm gonna have to pay more attention this summer and see if I see that.
Pay more attention. Maybe not so much at Eldora because it's a big track, but short tracks especially. Like,
I can see that. Lose track of that stuff pretty easy. Yeah. So I said it during our last recording. I'll say it during this one too. With you winning Talladega and Hunter finishing second, I won the championship by 4 points. So
you're welcome.
Thank you. I owe you one. Yeah.
So if I ask during season 9, I expect it.
My favor will be cashed in, man.
That's so funny. And I think it makes it even better. Like we talked about, you were a rookie last season, and we learned throughout the season that you were really good. We figured you'd been racing, like sim racing, for a while, and we slowly found out that you were like a dirt racer, and you just got into sim racing because of one of your coworkers who's also in the Venom Truck series. It was really cool, and now it's really cool, like especially knowing that, because like I couldn't have told you who won the Talladega race. I was just happy to finish it. Like I think that was like my second or third top 10 in 7 seasons at super speedway races. So like I was tickled pink. I finished in the top 10. Hell yeah. I couldn't have told you who won it, but I didn't realize Hunter finished second either. And if that had been flipped the other way, I'd have been in big trouble.
Yep. I can remember, once I was pushed out in front by Burgett, I can remember saying, I'm blocking Engrav. He's not winning another race. Like, we can all wreck. He's not winning another one.
That's so funny. Yeah, and then at Kentucky, not only did you it kind of in a not kind of in a way, you definitely helped me win the championship just with that little point swing, but being behind you at Kentucky and trying to run you down at the end of that race, that makes that like a whole full circle moment too. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Gosh, there was something I just thought of too. Oh yeah, how long did Austin beg you to start sim racing / get into Venom? I knew I was forgetting a question. That's it right there.
Quite a while. So I started there at the Kubota dealership in August of 23. And we got to know each other, and it came about, I would show up on Fridays with a big gooseneck enclosed trailer, and it came out that I raced whatever, and he was like, oh well, I do this, like, it's broadcast. So I started watching the broadcast on Tuesday nights, and was interested, and he said, well, you ought to come try the sim. So I go over, and he was still on single monitor running VR with a Quest 3, and so he gets it all set up. Not a technology person. So I sit down and I'm like, what am I going to see when I load in? Like, I don't know what to expect. Like, never been on iRacing before. So it loads in, and I street stock at I think Limaland or something, and put the car in gear, roll off, lay in it, go to roll into the corner, and about fall out the seat just because I'm used to the G-forces. Literally took a couple laps to get to where I wasn't like feeling like I was gonna fall out the seat going into the corner.
That's yeah.
So from there, he got a new set of, or a new wheel, new pedals, something, and I went over a second time and tried it, and I was like, okay, like, let me get a computer, let me get a wheel, let me get into this, like, it's got to happen. So got in, he told me what computer to buy, pretty much. I was like, I don't know anything about computers. So got a computer, started racing just single monitor on the desk. He gave me like one of the little Logitech like pedal and wheel stands, and I'd sit in the office chair with cardboard underneath it so it wouldn't slide when I hit the brakes. And played with that for a couple months, and he said, well, we're running recruitment races this summer for the league, like, you should join. And I was like, no, I don't, whatever. And at this point, me and Bailey were still just engaged. And then, it came about that Bailey had to have her 6th open heart surgery. So she had to stay quarantined for a good bit. So I was like, well, let me jump in. Like, I'm going to be home by myself anyway. So I did the recruitment races and whatever, and I actually bought an old Quest 2 off of our manager to use instead of being on monitor, just to make it a little bit easier visual wise instead of a single monitor, and jumped in, and that's how I ran all of season 8 was VR with a Logitech stand that I could pull too hard and it'd fall towards me into my lap, and push the brakes too hard and I'd slide back on the office chair. But that's what I run season 8 with.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And now we're here. I've got full cockpit triples now. Spent too much money this winter.
I wish that's the one thing I wish I could do is triples. I still have a single monitor office chair. I got a nice wheel and pedals. That's all I give a shit about,
I think the start of this season is proof that you don't need what I have to be good.
I do think it's funny because I have the office chair, but I have like a unique pedal setup. So instead of like the cardboard, or friggin' Nathan who went out and 2x4'd him a like slot together to keep his pedals from moving.
No,
I ordered like this
rig.
Yeah, it's a wild looking rig.
That's awesome.
I have like a pedal set that has little cups that the office chairs sit in, and that my pedals mounted on that, and that's what keeps my chair from moving my pedals. I've had
that's
it for
kinda
a
sweet.
while.
That would have been handy.
It's not a rig, but it's the most convenient thing I've ever bought because the
That's
pedals
right.
don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just fat, so I don't move very much. I keep the wheel.
I
keep
use
the
my
chair-
weight.
I keep the chair. I keep the chair pretty planted. But yeah, that's funny you say that. You went over to Austin's twice because so when I started out, it was Thrustmaster T150, which I have a story to go along with this because we'll keep with the continuity of the last episode. I had a T150, and Kyle Dumig was he's still around. I didn't see him this past week, but Kyle's still around. He's raced with us a couple times this season. Kyle lived like half an hour, 15 to half an hour away, minutes away from my college that I went to. So I actually went to Kyle's and hung out with him a couple times, like when I first joined the league, which probably could have led to me getting murdered, but it didn't, thankfully. Kyle let me try his setup out, and he had the Alpha, or he had the A10, the SimQ or SimMagic A10, and V3s. And then I went to Nathan's for Bristol the next year, and that's what Nathan also had, was the A10 and V3s. So yeah, that like influenced my decision like big time. But it's crazy to hear that it's like that. I feel like that first time I would have went over, I'd have been freaking. I'm getting all this shit, Like,
Yeah.
I saw the first NASCAR race during COVID, and I opened my laptop and I was like, "Can I run iRacing on this thing? Because I'll go buy all the shit I need right now." And I couldn't, but ended up getting a PC not long after that. But it's funny you talk about the G-forces too, because with that little Thrustmaster wheel and pedals, I was running Arca about a month before I joined the league, actually, at Michigan. And to keep myself off the wall, I was leaning, almost fell out of the chair, and I was literally like wrapping my foot around the edge of the gas pedal and trying to push it away from the wall too. Keep myself off the wall because I didn't know what the hell I was doing anyways. But whatever helps, whatever helps. I ended up winning a race that week, so it worked out pretty good.
Yeah. Well, funny you say that, because you can look at my boot in real life, and there's a little spot in the center that's worn down more than the rest, where I literally turn my ankle and cup it around the side of the pedal. That's just where I naturally sit.
Validation.
And we have validated John K. He needed more confidence that he was doing real things.
I'm proud. I'm proud of myself that I didn't do it at Kansas. I'll find myself. I'll like wrap my pinky around my pinky toe and my like, not pinky toe, but next to my pinky toe. I'll catch myself wrapping those around the gas pedal sometimes because I race barefoot because I'm weird apparently.
Even.
But anyways, that's enough. Oh, the suit and tie. Why are you
suit
wearing
and tie?
A suit? Yeah, why are you wearing a suit and tie? We'll ask about this earlier this time.
So, got the webcam solely to do the podcast. John K was like, "Hey, like," or I think I actually texted you. Was like, "How can I do this?"
Yeah, you messaged me first, and you were like, "I want to be on this," and I was like, "Yeah, you gotta have the webcam and be prepared to have a good time for multiple hours. Sometimes, if people make mistakes.
I make mistakes.
Sorry,
but so I ordered a webcam from Best Buy. Came in a couple days later and set it up, whatever, and then it just ended up sitting there for a couple weeks. And I was like, I've got this webcam. We run in-car cams. I may as well run an in-car cam. So I was talking with Bailey about it, and I was like, what's the point in no offense, but being like everyone else, like if I'm gonna do the webcam, like if I'm not gonna win the show, why don't I just be the show on the webcam instead? So I was like, I'm gonna wear a suit and tie for every Venom race. And Bailey got me a suit jacket for Christmas, and here we are. And like Monday nights, I run just with a random item. So like when I was second at Myrtle Beach, I had a stuffed animal with me and just piloted me to the second place. Attested to him.
That's awesome.
But
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about the stuffed animal thing. But I did watch you had another thing on this past week that I noticed on your
I had
Venom.
had heat wave visual sunglasses that I got for my birthday, which goes along great with my bright orange and pink heat wave visual paint. So I thought it was fitting.
Very good looking truck. Yeah, I
It is.
probably wouldn't have done all this if I didn't have a webcam. So
Mhm.
also Dale's there, he's just folded over because I
Mhm.
can't get him to sit up right now.
Yeah, and it never actually ended up getting put in a broadcast because with Tommy's very unfortunate issues with a tree during the Christmas time, we missed most of the month of December for the Truck 200 races. But I actually had completely wrapped my entire sim rig in Christmas lights as well.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, that's
So it was
amazing.
like all
That
the
would
way
have been
around my
cool.
chair and
That would have been sweet.
everything. But
Yeah.
missed that. I raced a couple races with a Santa hat on over my VR, um, which
That would have been
was really
awesome.
fun.
That would have been so cool. That would have been so cool to see.
Always fun, always
Speaking
something.
of
I can promise you that.
speaking of the tree debacle, I can't wait for the Iowa Turn 200 race that I named and for that name to be announced. It's gonna be great. But speaking of racing, we had a race this past Tuesday. We raced at Kansas. Some pretty cool stuff going on with Nathan sponsoring the we're doing a little like mid-season bracket tournament type deal thing. Not type deal thing. That's what it is. It's a bracket tournament bracket, and so the drivers that finished first through 16th at Kansas would make it into the tournament, and based on your finishing position is how you would be seated, 1 to 16. So I ended up coming home victorious after an interesting race. It started out very interesting. We had 3 really quick cautions. Ryan got loose and had it saved, and Austin guessed wrong on which way he was going and turned into Ryan Preece, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe I can fly.
That's exactly what happened.
I should go back and make
Clip that as a TikTok, man.
I
I'm
should go
telling you,
make
that'll
that
be a good one.
Pascal also, we didn't talk about it the first time we recorded this, but Pascal got caught up in it, unfortunately. It was a weird race because like Brody started on pole, but Brody had a EOL for contact at Kern, and he was racing his Legends car when we raced Auto Club, so it fell to this one. So Brody had to start in the back, and he ended up getting front end damage at some point. Luke ended up with damage. Like a whole bunch of trucks ended up with damage in the first like 30 laps of the race. Josh ended up with damage.
Schlosser had damage.
Schlosser and Jan. Oh yeah, it like a crazy amount of people. I apologize to Luke. I'll apologize to Luke again. Sorry.
Please don't apologize.
Sorry you got run over by the missile is Steve.
You passed Motacek.
Yeah.
I hit Motacek.
I ran.
Then, as we pointed out,
ran Josh
if this is your first race ever, Steve Roman is a missile and a weapon, and he's here to kill people. So just remember that.
He gives out honey and meatball flags.
To be fair, I had it coming from Bruman because last season I unintentionally dumped him at Coda and him at Dover.
Oh my gosh.
So
God dang. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Verman's a great driver.
I love racing around Steve. Yeah, he had a rough Monday and Tuesday.
Rough 2 days.
He got into a little bit of hot water on Monday. Got spun out and then got tight underneath somebody. Ended up spinning them out.
Broke guy tight.
broke guy tight. That's a new thing. Broke guy tight.
Because it happened to Andy on turn 200. It was also on North Wilkesboro. It's broke guy tight.
It's broke guy. You're getting broke guy tight underneath people. I got, and then he ended up obviously getting Luke and then Josh. I got not broke guy tight underneath the Josh. I don't really know if I was clear. I think I was close. I saw your whole front bumper. I just did not want to slide up in front of you right there because I'd have got dumped.
You weren't clear. You were, I mean, maybe 5 or 6 inches from clear, but not enough. Close. And then
We were both going up the track.
Luke was about 5 or 6 inches underneath my left rear quarter.
I had
panel.
this beautiful barely run, and I was like, I'm just going to get to his bumper here, and then all of a sudden you had to get out of it.
Yeah,
and I was not. That lift came, and I was like, "Yep, and I get off the throttle. You can see flames come out, and I just barely touch you, and I see you start to slide, and I'm like, okay, wall's coming. It's going to be fine. Ollie's down. He'll straighten up. We're good here. And what we said here was John got tight, Josh got tight. I got tight. Steve didn't get tight at all. Steve got the run. The run and straight into my bumper.
It's more like I got tight, Josh got tight, Luke got run the fuck over. Totally an accident though. Like we all know
absolutely.
We all joke and kid. We know Steve's super clean. It was just he was in a bad spot for a lot of he was in a bad spot for a lot of shit on Tuesday. Because he ended up getting Josh, which brought out the third caution.
Next caution. Yeah, I got tight by myself in front of him and lifted, and he had the run
again.
Yeah.
According to Ziddle, he got the bloodlust on Monday night and had to be quenched.
Oh, poor Steve, man. He's gonna hate us all. That's okay. I still love him.
Don't worry, he gets redeemed later in the podcast when we talk about who we let our daughters date.
Damn it, you ruined it. I'm gonna bleep. I would if I
exit that part out and just put technical difficulties.
If I care enough tomorrow, I'll bleep that out or something. But,
that'd be funny.
So I'm gonna end up being the 1 seed after battling the hell out of Chad Stearns. A good majority of the race after that third caution came out. Kind of a weird spot for it to come out. Everybody pit except for like 4 people. And then it was, are those Sour Patch Kids?
That's what I thought it was.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I don't have any. I love Sour Patch Kids. But
we would be dead in this household if Bailey didn't have Sour Patch Kids.
I have Nerd Gummy Clusters, but they're way over
Starburst.
There. Oh man, making me hungry.
Snack time.
I have ice cream out in the freezer, so I'll go get that in a minute. So I'm gonna end up being.
Do you have ice cream out since the time we started this podcast? No. It's completely melted now.
Melted. Me and Chad had a good battle. Chad was doing a good job of using the air to defend his position, and I started doing better at guessing where I needed to be, but ended up getting it figured out. Chad had a little bit of an issue coming to pit road. And I almost had an issue coming to pit road, watching him come down from the third lane, down to the second lane, down to the first lane, when I'm running the bottom, trying to pit and beat him to the undercut, because I think 2.5 seconds, I don't know if I'd have got out in front of him, but I'd have had a lot of momentum coming, down the backstretch when he came off of pit road. So it'd have been tight, but Chad ends up half looping it coming onto pit road, and I was too busy watching it and almost sped on pit road. So he ended up drop kicking the cone across pit road, and I was like, shit. And then I looked up and I was doing 70 and I needed to be doing 45. So we made it, ended up getting the job done. Hayden Palumbo finishes in second. Kyle Ziddle finishes in third. Jan, with the damage from earlier in the race, finishes fourth. Brantley Gainey finishes fifth. Sounds like he had quite the adventure trying to finish that one out.
Ripping the top, baby.
Yep. I followed him for about 30 laps there at the end. He hit the wall in every turn.
That South Carolina internet, man. He was dinging off the wall and just keeping on.
He was a dirt track, bouncing off the cushion, something.
He was confused on why he wasn't getting a Darlington stripe when
he put them Darlington fenders on is what he did. It was like old still sides out here ripping the wall down. Like, nah, I'm good, man. Keep going.
He borrowed one of Andy's Super Speedway
trucks. Oh, Andy's Super Speedway trucks. Freaking, not only do we have broke guy type, but we have stupid broke guy Super Speedway trucks. Josh, what do you know about that, by the way?
I do not.
Andy is world famous.
Bastard Andy Poliski.
At Super Speedways. He'll be in every wreck. We'll have like 8 cautions, and Andy will be 4 of them.
No,
You'll see him
he
nose
is
into the
all
wall.
He's all fucking 8 of them. He is not 4 of them. He is all the Rex.
You'll see
Every
him nose
single
into the
damn one
wall.
of them.
Thing will be dented in, and you're like, yeah, he's got no arrow. And then on the last lap, you watch this number 32 wiggling beside you as it goes past you on the outside.
That's
Like,
some bitch.
where did he come from?
That some bitch still has full power, and I'm pissed. He finished.
He has like carbon fiber or bulletproof webbing that protects his engine at super speedways. That's all I can figure.
God dang. Rodney Matney finishes in 6th. Josh Freed finishes in 7th. He was on that alternate strategy. Did not have damage. Luke had damage, unfortunately.
Consistent run for him, man. 7 and 8.
That's pretty. It's impressive for Josh. Like just the strategy he was on was weird. Like to climb back to 7th is really damn impressive.
He led 4 laps. Like Josh played that race well.
Yeah. Brody finishes in 8th. Greg Bradshaw finishes in 9th. Zach Lockett in 10th. Jeremy, who led quite a few laps, he led 32. Led a lot of the opening segment, battling with Josh Matacek. Finishes down in 11th. Little different pit strategy than I think he just ran long. He was waiting for a caution at the end and didn't leave himself enough time to make up spots. Garrett finishes in 12th. That's a good run for the boss man. Finally at a mile and a half. I don't think he had damage for once. That's got to be a first. And the last truck on the lead lap was Andy. And if you are new to Venom and you're now finding
and you're already aware that Steve is a missile, you also know that apparently that number 32 and the 01 hate each other.
Yeah, they do not get along on track. And they have a whole damn history book written about them.
Certified beef.
Oh, man. Yeah, and it's just one of those things. I'm glad I got to the white flag when I did, because that very easily could have been a caution, those two going at it. So thankfully got to the white. But Andy, last truck on the lead lap. Cole Maxwell finishes in 14th. That's honestly a really good run for Cole. He just kind of chilled behind me that whole last run too. Like he definitely could have passed me, and he just sat there the whole time. I was like, "The fuck are you doing? Like go around me," and he didn't. Eric, I said thank you to somebody, and then Cole hit the God bless button he's got. So it popped up in text chat, and that's why I said, if anybody heard it, that's why I said to Cole, yeah, thank you to you too. I know you're just sitting back there when you could have passed me. That's why I said that, because he literally should have just passed me, and he didn't. Eric Breeding comes home in 15th. Chad Stearns in 16th after the pit road.
After leading the most laps and getting both bonus points, ends up missing it on the pit road.
Which... I'm not going to sit here and say I would have beat Chad straight up, but I had a good shot at it. And
it'd have been a good race. It would have been an absolutely good race.
It would have been a freaking banger to the end. And the only reason I even think that, like most of the time Chad beats you, you're just getting your butt kicked by him. You're like, I had nothing for him. The only thing that gave me hope was on a long run, I could catch him running the bottom. And I was like, honestly, like if I'd have come up, if I'd have just been like a little, like a 10th or 2 further back, I would have came out right on his bumper in the first run. And he was running the top, which was super, super dominant. And I was running the bottom, and I made up a ton of ground and like had the run and everything. So it would have been a damn good race to the end. But he ends up 16th with the pit road penalty. David Fay finishes in 17th. It's a good run for David. He's been back for a couple of weeks. He's one of the guys that's been and gone and back again and all over the place. I don't know how much sim racing he's gotten to do, but it's good to have David back, and good for him to get to finish a race clean. He's another guy I feel like never gets a chance to finish a race clean, unfortunately. Kevin Sargent, another one. Kevin and David were on like the same pit strategy. They pit late, waiting for a caution that they didn't get. But Kevin's had some good pace since coming back. Paul Sargent finishes in 19th. It's a good run for Gentleman Paul. Luke finishes in 20th after dirt tracking it for about, 100 laps.
160 laps, 180.
Tyler Logan finishes in 21st, which is just the beginning of the rough day for the ponies of Pony Express.
Unfortunate race.
Matt Schlosser finishes in 22nd after he dubbed himself the doofus under caution. After him and Jan got together, Josh Modicek, our guest, finishes in 23rd. Josh Jackson finishes in 24th. He must have got damage at some point because he was 6 laps down. Steve had damage, I'm assuming, 12 laps down. Austin Holyfield, Ryan Priest himself, 13 laps down.
Damage.
Tyler Berger didn't crack a beer. He was in 27th, 29 laps down. Brian Mitchell, who I'm pretty sure was up front for one of the restarts late, ends up 57 laps down in 28th. Leo Smith is 60 laps down in 29th, and then Ryan Dye in 30th, 124 laps down, and Pascal Smart 126 points, or 126 laps down in 31st. So the car inside bracket, I don't have a fancy graphic, but it's going to look something like this. In round 1, obviously it's going to be 1 through 16, except for Jeremy McKinnon, who will not be there. Jeremy is going to work, I suppose, so he's not going to be here Tuesday. So everybody from 12th to 17th is just going to move up a spot. So it's going to be me versus David Fay this coming week at Iowa. A heavyweight matchup between Hayden and Chad Stearns.
Yep.
A 2:15 matchup. That's going to be nuts. I was going to say if Chad shows up, but Chad's showed up to every race this season.
I was about to say, he hasn't been missing like he normally does.
Yeah, so Chad Stearns, title, I'd say, honestly, like, favorite, honestly.
He's got to be up there.
Chad is really damn good.
They don't send out 5K I rating to anybody.
Yeah, no kidding. Kyle Zittel is going to take on Eric Breeding in a little Alabama Gang super kick action. Cole Maxwell and Jan Van Leer are going to take on each other in ICR in-house, torture, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know where I'm
in-house torture.
In-house torture.
I like it.
Cole's just going to sing to him for 180 laps, even though Cole's actually a pretty good singer.
I'm going to talk to him about tech tape for 100 and some laps. Hey, yo, yawn.
Brantley is going to take on Andy. Garrett is going to take on Rodney Matney, which means we miss out on Rainey versus Gainey, which would have been awesome and horrible for the announcers, which would have been hilarious. Josh Freed. Oh, dang. That is another teammate on teammate matchup. Josh Freed versus Zach Lockett. 939 Racing, the 710 matchup. And then Brody versus Greg Bradshaw, the 8-9 matchup. So it's going to be Iowa, Michigan, Daytona Road Course, and then each, obviously just like March Madness, winner moves on, loser goes home. Even though we're all racing together still. And the championship race will be at Nashville Superspeedway, which is going to be
the King's home.
Fun time. So the points as they run, if we were to start the chase right now, Chad Stearns is your point leader by 3 points over a teammate, Zach Lockett, 939 Racing. Hayden Palumbo is third, 6 points back of the lead. I'm jumped all the way to fourth from 11th with the win, 7 points back of Stearns. Tied for fourth with Matt Schlosser. And tied for sixth is Luke and Kyle. Luke dropped 4 spots. Matt was the points leader going into the race. He dropped 3 spots. Luke still only 1 point behind him. And also, so is Kyle. Josh Freed down in 8th. He's 12 points back of the lead. Brantley Gainey is 16 points back. And then Jeremy McKinnon, even with a missing race, even though he has a provisional, but he's going to miss the race this week too, is 19 points back to the lead, and Jan would be the first person out, 24 points back, which he's going to catch Jeremy this week because Jeremy's going to drop a bunch of points because he's not racing. I know it's kind of silly to look at points right now, but I think it's kind of interesting too. For me, it's been a weird points year. I think I had an average finish through the first 2 races of 24 and a half, so good time.
Hey, there you go.
First 2 races, I was 15 and 15.
Really?
Yeah.
You were 15th at Vegas?
Yep.
I find that hard to believe.
Crazy.
Well, I was running 3rd with Hayden, I think.
Yeah.
And we both dove into pit early to get out in clean air.
Yeah.
And I come out of the pits, make my opening lap. I was going for fastest lap of the race. and caution comes out.
Oh.
And
Yeah, everybody. There was a really unlucky bit at Vegas where that happened because you all had just undercut me and Ziddle. I think were running up there at that point.
I want to say so.
And yeah, me and Ziddle were about to pit. That's what was crazy about that race is we were both about to come down pit lane, and caution comes out while we're on the backstretch.
Yep. Yeah, that was just super unlucky. Just caught out on a gamble.
No. It was great. It was perfect, and that's the way it should have went.
says the race winner, Luke Peterson.
The race winner. The race winner. Great.
Somewhere there, or between you and Josh Jackson.
Hi, amazingly no, but
oh my gosh,
I'd pay him right now. I'll be honest with you. Oh Lord.
Yeah, getting that first win's nice.
Yeah, some of us don't win it in our first season. If you didn't know that, it took me 67 races. So
it took me. We figured it out. I don't remember what it was. It was like
we did figure it out.
An entire childhood of
just an entire childhood of doing nothing but actually running race cars.
Well, I mean, we get our ass whipped by Brody every week when he doesn't decide to spin.
Oh, good God! Ain't that the truth?
We're used to it. So we're moving on. Also, you talked about her earlier. I do want to shout out your wife, Bailey. Like always in the comment section of the turn 200 races, when you're racing, especially. That's awesome. Like it's awesome to have. Yep. Like I know I'm lucky enough. I know Luke's lucky enough. Ziddle, most of us that do this racing stuff. It's nice to have somebody that's super supportive like that. That's watching all the time, or not yelling at us for screaming the whole evening. So
I have no clue what John's talking about. Kim doesn't watch any of my races. She did bring me a Ferrero Rocher when I won. She had I turned around and look, and it's just sitting on the desk, and I was like, you know what, fair.
That's good. Hey man, that's still good stuff. But yeah, so it's always cool because you always know she's gonna get shouted out because even though you guys are in the same room, she's still watching. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, she actually goes in the bedroom now.
Oh.
But
getting too rowdy.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
But she's great. I mean, even through real life racing and everything, if she could help it, she was at the racetrack. I mean, she obviously restricted physically by some stuff, but she helps any way she can. Super blessed to have her, and she wouldn't miss a race. I mean, now with I'm running Truck 200 Monday, Venom Tuesday. I'm color commentating for Max V on Thursday nights, and now
forgot to say that
occasionally running Slosher's Off-Road League on Friday nights, and then weekends are packed with practicing and stuff. So, I mean, she puts up with me sitting in this chair for at least a couple hours almost every night. So I mean, she's a trooper. She lets me have it, and I definitely give it back to her where I can.
All right, we're moving on.
Why'd you have to laugh? I was so proud of myself. I hadn't done anything dumb.
I couldn't help myself.
I couldn't either.
Phrasing.
I get on the wall of quotes now.
I don't know if the podcast counts. It should, damn it. There's been some heaters on this bitch.
Oh,
it is
man.
sponsored. Damn, you're right. That's got to go on I'll talk to Tommy.
Oh, that's funny.
And I said recording this a second time might not be as fun as the first. It's been good.
It's been solid, man. Hey, we got it.
It's been great. So we're going to. I don't even remember what the hell.
Question time. It's question time.
Question time. I don't remember what I called it. Like ask the crowd or some shit. Like it was cool. I need
questions
to come
from
up with a name for it. Yeah. So we have a weird one to start with. It's
Here we
still
go
weird.
again.
It's still weird. I don't even remember. I'm gonna have to write it down who these questions are from so I can make fun of them for coming up with them. Oh, Ryan wrote this one. I didn't even have to look at Discord. I just remembered that. Who is the Venom Truck Series' sexiest driver? And I said it last time. I'm gonna say it again. None, you sons of bitches. Nobody.
All ugly.
I believe I opted for the classy Paul Sargent route. Just look at his Facebook picture and his nice suit. We give it to the silver fox of the group. That's what you got to do.
Yep. I had said that I really enjoy seeing Vroman's beekeeper get up.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
That was it.
Always a good one.
You also mentioned, Luke, you said Deadpool was sexy too.
Oh yeah, Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Which means Devin Largent because he wears the Deadpool mask. So
Yeah.
it runs in the Largent Sargent family, even though they're not related.
I said Garrett's beard.
The beard. Garrett has the best beard in Venom.
Yeah.
Which is a completely different question, but best beard in Venom.
Yeah. And we're not going to talk about what we talked about. We're just going to move on to the next question instead of what you suggested last time. Oh, yeah. Josh, you asked this question. You can ask it again because I have it written down wrong anyways, but we'll answer it both ways.
My question was, out of the Venom Truck Series drivers, who would you never, ever let your daughter date?
And see, John got confused.
I did.
And started talking about people that he would let his daughter date.
Yeah. I never claimed to be smart. I never claimed to be smart.
I stood by my statement, which I mentioned earlier in this podcast. If John didn't cut it out, that it's got to be the age gap, non-existent. It's Steve Roman, classy individual, only wrecks people once a year. We're good.
Wood.
That's wood.
Wood.
That's the wood. See, the wooden was you.
Yeah. I can't argue that, honestly.
No, I'm sorry. It's just John. No, what was it you did? You said you'd roll in. I'd say you're going to the dirt track together. What was the face? It was a grin and a thumbs up. There it is. See that? Nah. No. It got worse.
Yeah. Who I would not let date my daughter? That motherfucker Nathan Reynolds.
There it is. Yeah, but who did you put with Nathan Reynolds? That's the key.
Fucking Tyler Berger. I would not let him anywhere near my daughter. Anywhere.
Oh my lord.
Both of them.
It's funny.
I will point this out. I think, well, it was the only thing that got recorded was me talking, but so nobody laughed. But I'm pretty sure you guys laughed over it last time. Bentley and Davey, Nathan's kids, they're awesome. They are two of the coolest kids I know. Oh my god. You know exactly where they get all the shit from, though. They don't get it from Farrah. They get it all from Nathan. Everybody's like, oh, Nathan's so sweet. Nathan's such a nice guy. No. No. He's a terror. Stay away from him. No, Nathan's awesome.
Especially awesome. My daughter.
Yeah, stay the hell away from my daughter. Nathan's good people, but my God.
Oh man,
I would not let him anywhere near my daughter. God bless him.
I had
bless
said,
his heart.
I had said off of day to day, Austin Holyfield is a no for me.
That's what I believe. That was when I said the devil you know.
Yes.
So I gotta know. I didn't even ask this last time. What is it about Austin? Does he smell bad?
It's the redhead.
Does he smell bad?
Hey, I had to ask.
I mean, he has no soul, so there you go. It's done and done.
My girlfriend is. My girlfriend's a redhead. They're not that bad.
Did you have to sell your soul to her?
I don't think so.
And moving on to the next question.
I'm not league counsel, so I can't answer either of these questions, but Luke can because Luke's here. Kyle also could have if he'd have showed the fuck up, but he didn't. So why is the league council so strict on the rookie status, and why is the league council scared of Oxford Plains?
So I believe I can answer this almost identically to the way I did last time. Rookie status is very simple to obtain. It's when you join the league and run your first full season, or first season even if it's partial. The only person we ever have that applies for secondary league rookieship is Kevin Sargent. It arrived in the form of Devin Largent this year, but there are 5 to 6 more forms there, and I believe the other one was like Christine Cargent or Margent Fargent. I don't even remember. They're just it's letters in front of his name. And look, Kevin, you're not a rookie anymore. You've already passed that stage. You own Raging Moose. Do your thing. Second question was about the league council being afraid of Oxford Plains, and we are not afraid of Oxford Plains. It is on the ballot. And see, I believe that there is a cabal inside Venom that lets Kevin think that they love Oxford Plains, but never votes for it. So hear me out, Kevin. The backstabbers in the league that are like, oh my God, I love Oxford. It's so great. Go find those guys, get them to vote for it, and then you'd actually get Oxford Plains because the council doesn't care.
I'm not voting for it because it would be a fucking shit show. It'd be a worse shit show than we have now at normal.
Go back and watch our Halloween 6-pack when we were in GT3s there, and it'll tell you why we don't run Oxford Plains.
Well, there's also, it got brought up. I'll bring it up again just because it's funny. I've already wrecked somebody at Oxford Plains, so I really don't want to go there again anyways.
Vengeance would be his. Thus saith the Rain Man.
Yeah. If you were, we didn't even ask these two. Well, one's added to it. If you were stranded on an island with somebody from the Venom Truck series and you had to survive, who would you want it to be?
Stranded on an island with a Venom driver.
Yeah.
He said, which would give you the best chance of survival?
Probably Jeremy. As much as I hate
Jeremy's a good answer because he knows how to fish.
I honestly, hold on. Eric breeding. I want
EB's
Eric.
Another good answer.
I want Eric to help me survive on this island. I used to be a Boy Scout, by the way, so I can do a little bit, but not much.
I'm trying to think of anybody who has sailing experience so I could get off of the island.
I mean, my dad was a commercial fisherman.
There you go. That's something.
Yeah, let's put
I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Let's put the two smallest guys on the island that are going to get carried away. You wouldn't need a boat. You could both would just get carried away by a damn bird.
Just float.
No,
yeah, that's a fair point.
You guys are skinny. You won't float. I'm fat. I'll float. You guys will just get picked up by damn birds.
Yeah, that's, pigeons. That's how I would work. Just seagull me up, fly away. Good to go.
Josh, you have anybody?
I don't even know. I think those are all great options.
I think I'm taking Andy. There's something about Andy that I think is just survivable. He's
smaller than you are.
Who can't? John, we're not eating each other. I'm not relying for you on sustenance. I want someone who I think is resourceful. And I've seen Andy do things to rebuilding cars. That means he's handy. I can stay at the house and cook the fish while he goes and does whatever. Taking Andy.
I don't feel like I know everyone in Venom good enough to answer this question.
It's a fair point.
I feel like Austin's a hunter. I feel like Austin.
He's not.
He's not.
He's not.
Shit. I'm
so
glad I didn't pick him.
Misconceptions.
Well, we told you who to pick. He just smells like maple syrup and.
Yeah. Jeremy and EB are really good options. I bet Garrett would be a decent option too.
That's
there's some survival. There's some survival people out there that aren't getting lost on an island. I guarantee you.
Garrett would do a good job of keeping you calm throughout all. Well, Eric would too, but
I think both of them probably know how to start a fire as well.
I know how to start a fire. I just need somebody that knows how to hunt.
Fair. If we're going solely based off of who could keep you calm, surprisingly, I'm gonna have to go Tyler Berger.
That'd be great if you were stranded,
spotted.
Yeah, but there's a key to the other part of that is: do you want to be stranded on an island for an indefinite amount of time with Tyler? I love him to death, but he's a lot like me. We both like to talk. It would never end.
It would be damn good comedy.
It would be great. I mean, I would be entertained. I would never be bored.
That's a fair point.
He'd probably try and grab your butt, though, which would be kind of weird. But
okay, easy, Cole.
I didn't say I would. Tyler would. Did you hear me mention Cole? No, because he's going to do the same thing.
Are you saying grabbing butts, man?
He's going to get a little grabby. Josh actually came up with another good question, and I'm gonna compile these, and it's gonna turn into we're just things we strictly ask our guests. But what do you currently drive, and what is your favorite car you have driven or owned? It's a good one. I'll let Josh go first.
I was about to say yes.
I currently drive a 2017 Dodge Cummins 6.7 turbo diesel, all the fun stuff. On the second transmission, of course.
As you do.
And the only other street highway vehicle that I have owned was an 04 F-250 Power Stroke. Also turbo diesel. I would favorite. I don't know. They're close. The Cummins, it does good on highway, but I mean now I'm living, in town and traffic. I would rather have the Ford for that massive power stroke.
We gotta
Smoke
get
people
you.
out.
We gotta get you in a real truck.
Do you tow things? Is
you're
that why you
rare.
have big diesels? Okay,
Yeah, well,
that would make
going
sense.
The racing rigs and stuff.
Yeah, the racing rigs. There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You already got a bow tie. You should just go buy a Chevy. Get a real truck.
I actually mentioned that to Bailey earlier.
She'll
He's
hear this
already
at some
said his
point.
favorite was the blue oval. We're fine.
Well,
Move on.
Well, it's because he
She
hasn't
has
owned it. 'Cause he hasn't owned a Chevy yet.
Really? Duramax? I remember those
all my dad
Duramaxes.
owned is Chevys though.
Oh,
But-
man.
Bailey's got a brand new GMC Acadia now, and that thing's sweet.
Nice.
I mean, it's kitted out.
Heck yeah. Lucas. Oh, sorry.
I'm a Ford man, but my dad's favorite truck that he ever owned was a Hemi. He had a 2001 Hemi, and I have a Dodge now. It's a work truck, a 2022 Ram 1500. I get the truck for free. It's 4-wheel drive. The gas in it is free. So
Complain there.
I drive
you can't
it.
go wrong.
Like, I don't have a personal vehicle because my company pays for fuel. I pay taxes on it. So,
Everybody
I mean,
that thing.
I was about
Yes.
to say that's what we drive. Kim has a 2018 Subaru Crosstrek. My mom owned a Subaru Legacy when I was a kid. I swear by Subarus. That one was an 89 Legacy, and she sold it in 2004, and it drove to 2008 when the girl who bought it wrecked it.
Damn,
And
that's
Subarus, I think that thing had 380,000 miles on it when she wrecked it. I swear by those. But my favorite car by far, I can't not say my sports car, because I have a 68 Ford Mustang sitting in my dad's shop with a 289 in it. It's the most fun to drive. Thing's loud. I screwed it up when I was 16. It has a weird speaker system in it and like a brand new LED stereo because I was a kid.
To ruin it. Dickhead.
Hey man, you gotta have fun. Got an original 289, original red leather interior, and then a souped up Walmart radio because we had to be able to listen to Journey and Def Leppard.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a muscle car right there, boy.
There it is.
I love my old Mustang. Call it the Hoss, but yeah, I haven't drove it in a while. I got to get back to it.
I currently technically drive my girlfriend's car because she drives my car. But it's a 06 Camry, and that thing's sick. I can't.
My mom had an 06 Camry.
Dude, they're freaking awesome.
They are fantastic.
It's got like 237 miles on it. Runs like a top. Sounds like a race car because the exhaust is broke. But I'll fix it at some point.
There's no exhaust back there, so
about the time I get sick of hearing it go, wah, that's when I'll fix it. When I'm like, okay, this is too loud. I'm sick of this. But but yeah, the Honda we have is super nice too. I bought that for my mom. That thing is
nice.
It's super.
Yep.
It's the nicest thing I've ever owned, honestly. Like, I've had some shitty cars. But my favorite thing I've owned, my 99 Chevrolet S10.
There it is.
Best fucking, the best. I can't wait. I think I'm going to make a paint, and it's going to be that truck. As dumb as that is, but I don't care.
Mine would be so bland. I had a Ranger, and it was just a blue-purple color.
It is. It's going to be bland. I could not care less.
Don't care. It's going to say S10 on it. That's all that matters.
So funny story. Somebody in my town has one. The exact same color, ZR2 package. So, like, came stock from the factory, the 2-inch lift. Pretty badass. Has I think it has a 4.3 in it. V6. Dude, fucking thing was awesome. Somebody has one in town. I have thought long and hard about just clearing out my freaking savings account and being like,
I need this.
Here it is in cash. I want your truck.
I want your truck.
So many good memories in that thing. And it was awesome. It was really light in the rear end. So
that's funny.
Yeah. You can already see where that's going.
That's about like that Cummins, like
model citizen.
Towing, all the weight is in the front.
Yeah.
Like the rear is super light.
Yeah.
I can dead stop, go from dead stop to floored, it will leave a streak.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's all time locked in, so it leaves two.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's fantastic.
That reminds me.
My cheeks hurt
We were,
so much.
I mentioned that 01 Dodge that Dad had that had the Hemi in it. We put a super chip in it. He super chipped it. I've never forgot this. We're sitting at a red light and a Viper pulls up beside us. We stayed with him through first gear. Like we dropped it and the traction on the truck caught a little quicker than the Viper did.
Man.
We pulled out and then he caught second and just left us. I loved that truck, man. That truck was great.
That's awesome. That's a great question.
I raced a Camaro the other day.
Really?
From a red light, and same exact thing.
Let's go.
Same exact thing. First and second on that Dodge is so low, it just rolls. Then as soon as we got up to about 35, he took off.
Oh man, yeah. One of my favorite stories. I like telling this story. Me and my buddy, we were out cruising around like all over the place up in northern Michigan. Like, I think I filled the truck up twice that night. We were just fucking cruising.
Good Lord.
And we ended up in one of the towns that was by the highway. And I was like, oh, well, we'll just take the highway up to this town and then we'll take some back roads home. And I got on it on the highway and we're just going. And I looked down and you're doing like 75. Like, push the gas pedal a little farther. Let's see how fast this thing will go. It got up to 88 and holy shit, I thought I was going to die. That thing started shaking so bad. I hope my dad does see this, honestly, because, statute of limitations is over. I either thought, one, the whole thing was going to fall apart, or two, we were going back to the future. It started shaking and going, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, I broke it. I'm fucked. Like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be right now. And, no, it just hit, it apparently had a governor on it. It would only go to 88, but holy shit, I thought we were dead.
So with that, curiosity, statute of limitations, definitely a thing. Is that the fastest you've ever gone in a street car? No? Do you want to tell the story or you want to keep that secret?
I found out my Impala.
I'm going to tell mine. So
I'll tell mine.
My Impala maxes out, or when I had my Impala, it topped out at 107.
107?
The dash told me that it topped out at 107. I have passed a cop on the highway doing 95. And made eye contact with said cop.
And Joshua, you're not going to share yours?
I'll share mine.
Okay. If you want to go first, or I will. I don't care.
So Bailey and I were coming back from a trip on Valentine's Day a couple days ago, a week ago.
My.
Yes. Yes.
And I told her, just somehow it came up, and I think I asked her, I was like, what's the fastest you've ever been in a vehicle? She was like, I don't know. I think my mom has done like 80 or 90 with me in the car before. So I was like, you want to see if we can go faster than that in the freaking solid front and rear axle Dodge? So, I mean, we go and I've been over 100 in the truck before. And, we're on the interstate. It's late in the afternoon, no traffic. So I go around a tanker truck and we're headed downhill. And I can see, whatever far ahead. And so I go to the floor. I watch it keep going. We tack 120 in that truck before I lift going up
there
the hill.
Go. There we go.
That's awesome.
Which 120 is what it goes to. So, I mean, I'm sure that the needle would have kept going, but truck doesn't have a limit.
That's a good time.
So my dad's world famous. He's got like 30 speeding tickets. Like that's his thing.
Damn.
He would get them constantly going to stuff. And then he would get he knew people obviously in the county we lived in. So you get improper equipment, get them knocked down because he was actually usually doing something important. Like he was on his way to church. He's passing a car 3 wide, running 80 in a 65. My dad does crap like that all the time. The sheriff in my hometown asked my mom how he still had a license when she started working at the sheriff's department. Because his record is bad. He's been in driving school like 4 or 5 times. It's hilarious. But anyway, so I get it honest. I've got 4 speeding tickets, I think. But so me and my buddy who I talked to today, we grew up driving that old Mustang. We went to the Rod Run in Pigeon Forge one time. We come back on the highway in that Mustang, got it to 95 with a fastback beside me. And when a car from the 60s is going 95 miles an hour, it sounds like it's coming apart. And he looked over and he said, I think we should slow down. And I'm like, you know what? Fair point. So my fastest I've ever been goes back to the callback to my favorite type of cars, other than old muscle cars, is Subarus. My buddy's mom, so my mom had a automatic Legacy. Richard's mom had a 5-speed Legacy, and we're in Forest City, North Carolina, and I think Highway 40 runs through there. And we're getting off of the exit to go there, and Richard looks over at me, and it's a 5-speed, and he goes, "How fast do you think we can get?" And I said, "Till you lift out of it." He was like, "All right." So by the time we got off the exit ramp, we were running 80, and I think we tacked that Legacy out at 135 on the highway. And I was like, "Yeah, we're playing Fast and Furious now."
Yeah.
And I was like, "The cops like to set up here. We should probably slow down at this point." And I think that's as easily as fast as I've ever gone in one. That was getting on with it.
I was disappointed. I said I've driven some shit boxes. That you said that Mustang sounded like it was falling apart. That's what I thought was happening to my freaking pickup, dude.
Your old pickup.
Oh my god! And then I had a Buick, or not a Buick. I had an Oldsmobile Intrigue, and I went over 100 in that. I don't know how fast I went because the speedometer didn't work the best, but it was probably somewhere around the same as the Impala. But holy shit, I thought I was gonna die. That thing started shaking too, and I was like, this is kind of sketchy. And the other bad thing was it was 4:00 in the morning, and I was driving to college. God. So it was dark and foggy as shit, and I was like, if I hit a deer, I'm dead.
You're done.
I am gonna die.
That truck is exploding.
No, it was a little friggin' 4-door sedan.
Yeah.
I was like, if I hit a deer, I'm fucked.
Oh, that's bad.
So I slowed down to like 95 instead of 100. So I had a whole 5. And then I couldn't see anything because it got really foggy, and I was like, I should probably slow down a little more.
Josh, when you did go-karts, did you put them on the little racks with the little wheels where you could roll them around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you said you had an S10. I had a Ford Ranger that was step-side, and I used to haul my car on my Ranger on that little stand. So my dad tells me to load it up one day, and I had forgot how far it rolled forward. I broke the back glass in my Ranger that way. I got it up on there and then tightened the ratchet strap down, and the third ratchet pop, I heard it go, and it just pulled the nose through the window.
That's so we had we're about to do something really cool here in a second, but I do want to say this one last thing. I didn't own it, but honestly, like one of the coolest things we've owned, and I hate to admit this as a Chevy person, we owned a 78 Ranger.
Ooh.
And it was lifted, and it was a stick shift. It was a 4-speed with a 360. That thing was fucking awesome. Like I said, I wish we'd have done race cars instead of mud trucks, but we wouldn't have ended up owning that truck. But that truck was sick. Like that thing was legit. That was a lot of fun.
You get back in those eras, and it really doesn't matter the manufacturer. One of the prettiest trucks I've ever seen was like a 64 Cheyenne that was Carolina blue two-tone. Those trucks are gorgeous, man.
Yeah, my goal is to own like a square body Chevy with a step son.
Yes,
it looks good. Yeah. Well, all right. Last thing we're gonna do, a very special request from Mr. Corey Rutherford. Since we didn't get a season 8 paint scheme bracket, we're gonna pick our own winner. Damn it. Well, kind of. I'm picking who I thought won, but we're gonna look at some paint schemes. I'm gonna pull them up. We are gonna start with our main man, Lucas. There was one rule. I could not select a paint that I drove. Luke could not select a paint that he drove. Josh, we put one of Josh's in here because I liked it, and Josh also just happens to be here. So we're gonna start it off with Lucas's Nice Motorsports truck clone, and I love this paint scheme. I will be the first to say I'm jealous of this paint scheme, even though I have 2 of them. I have 3 of them. I have my Carson Hocevar one, which really like started the whole thing because Nathan had one.
You and Nathan had that one at the same time.
Yeah, and then Luke and Garrett all ended up with ones. I feel like somebody else had one, but Luke's is my favorite. I wish I'd have thought of red, white, and blue when we all tried to come up with our own color schemes. And I mean, just like obviously big American, red, white, and blue, best 3-color combination you can have. But for some reason, like just the like shade of red and the shade of blue he used looks so good. I'm a massive fan of this truck.
Yeah, I think I talked about it last time, but if you put something in rocket pop colors, It absolutely works for me, and it's Rocket Pop. I mean, it's that baby blue with white and red. Nathan, I had just ran the season before I had ran Nathan's niece truck for the last 2 races of the season when he swapped back to the 51.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Do you like the niece scheme?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I love it." And he's like, "Cool, I'll make this for you." And actually ended up sending the other replicas to John. He had one that was like silver and a lighter gray on the top, but the red, white, and blue thing just hit perfect for me. I thought it looked great.
Yeah, that's when I got my pink truck. Was at the beginning of last season, and Nathan like had us pick our color scheme, and I was like, yeah, I like pink and black. It looks good. I think I honestly I'm a big fan of like black and pink together. But then I saw Luke's, and I was like, damn it, I wish I'd have thought of red, white, and blue first because it looks so good. And you'll notice a trend with this list because there's another one.
I was about to say.
At Laguna Seca for the 4th of July race, Andy's red, white, and blue Nissan scheme, American flag scheme, I should say. There's another red, white, and blue one. Obviously, yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with the American flag. And I also just realized I'm pretty sure that the stars are chrome on that.
I think it was something that we talked about, but Andy's a very underrated painter. He shows up with some just wicked looking trucks that are a lot of times very simple, but like if you look at them closely, there's really intricate details in them that make them just pop.
He's running like a metallic. Did he paint the metallic truck this year or did Eric? I can't remember.
I don't know.
There's a like half metallic truck he's running this year. It looks sick. Or this season, I should say.
Eric has painted so many trucks this season. Like it's been Punisher graphics this year.
Fire. They are fire. I'm gonna need to get another one of them. I haven't run an Eric truck since I run that Navy truck.
The Navy truck was good. Yeah, did you take the Coast Guard one?
No, you did.
That was Zittle. Zittle took the Coast Guard. Yeah,
I ran the Navy one. That Navy paint scheme looked sick at Dover.
That was a fun race.
How about another red, white, and blue paint scheme?
Not nominated by John. This one was nominated by me, and you'll notice the theme of it's Rocket Pop color. But I think the thing we talked about with this one is the number. John K. and that firework number is one of the, in my opinion, cleanest looking numbers that's not chrome in the league. Like chrome numbers pop and they're gorgeous, but John coming up with putting the fireworks inside the number, and then it matches the color scheme on top of it is just gorgeous.
I don't even remember why I did that. Well, that's a lie.
4th of July, so fireworks, I would imagine.
No, so I did a Fago truck first.
Yeah.
And it was Fago fireworks. So it was navy blue, like matte navy blue with like the white pop on it because the pop's white. And firework hood. And then I was like, oh, firework number will look cool. And I threw it on there and I was like, oh, buddy. Yeah, that's a good looking truck.
That's it.
Yeah, that number is sick. I have it still somewhere hidden.
Is there anything different between a Rocket Pop and a Bomb Pop? Just different companies?
I think they're the same thing.
I'm pretty sure they are. Just curious.
Probably just different shapes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That just reminded me of I played football in college. And we had this kid on our team. He was a nice kid and all. But I walked into our meeting room for offensive line one day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like those red, white, and blue dildos." He goes, "No, they're not dildos. They are." He's like, "I like popsicles." He's like, "Well, I guess you could use it as a red, white, and blue dildo." And I was like, "What the fuck conversation did I just walk into?"
Good God.
The next one. These are in no specific order, by the way. The next one we have is Zach Lockett's pink Whitney scheme. That thing is sexy. The one with all the lightning bolts on it.
It's so clean.
Scheme. Yeah. Like
it's just a clean truck that has. It's one of those trucks that you think of when you come to the race on Tuesday night, like you're going to see it.
Another thing I did not notice about that truck is the black is actually matte. I like that a lot.
Yep.
I wish I could make a good lightning scheme like that. I'm kind of jealous. I'm not creative enough to do that. Tyler got his National Weather Service truck. Kind of looked like shit. Oh, hey, look, another one.
Another red, white, and blue truck.
Andy's red, white, and blue truck from Bathurst. He ran this a couple races. Again, it's the same kind of red and blue as Luke's truck. I don't know. Obviously red, white, and blue is going to catch my eyes, but that like lighter red with lighter blue is also a really good look.
I think we talked about it before, but the thing about all these red, white, and blue trucks and why they're so great is we're equating this to Top Gear's Cool Wall, and nothing is cooler than showing up in a red, white, and blue truck at a 4th of July party. And as I pointed out before, you're going to have to beat off all the women with a stick. So obviously it's cool.
Obviously.
That's how that works.
You can't argue it. Next on the list, they're technically together, but I wanted to give them all the space themselves, and since I drove one, I can't have it up here. But Eric's Scott Bloomquist, the Chrome one, it was the second version of the Chrome truck or Chrome car that Scott ran. Ran this the week after Scott Bloomquist passed away. I did not realize how big of a fan Eric was until I knew he liked, like, obviously I knew Eric liked dirt and stuff, but I didn't realize he was such a big Bloomquist fan. So that hit pretty close to home for him. And then Paul ran this black and white one, black, white, green. Really good looking. They looked so good on a truck. I was a little surprised. They turned out really good. I ran a black and red one. It was all black with red accents on it. It looked really good too, but I just now noticed those had like flames on the hood, and that looks really good.
I was actually just looking at that too.
I didn't notice that before. Speaking of dirt, I'm excited for the dirt race this season. I have a couple of special paint schemes that are going to be out there, and I'm very excited. Very excited. Next, we have, since we were talking about candy, Josh Jackson's Skittles truck, which is fire. I'm pretty sure Nathan painted this.
I think he did.
It is sick. It's as cool as an M&M's car, but I like Skittles more than M&M's.
I don't like black numbers, and that is the coolest looking black number I think I've ever seen. It looks so good. Number. Like, I like something that pops a little more on that, but it just, on that truck, just looks gorgeous.
It looks so good. Next, we have Zittle's Menard scheme.
I loved that Menard scheme, man.
Throwing it back to Ryan Newman's gray on gray flame car, which I forgot existed until Zittle brought it back up, and I was like, you know what? That actually is a really good looking car. It's kind of like a weird color combo. You wouldn't think about being like, oh yeah, this is kind of neat, but it is. It really is.
I think the thing about like your Bloomquist trucks and Zittle's Menard's truck is there's a certain aspect of cool of somebody running something that's unique or like special to them.
Yeah.
And we all make the joke all the time that Zittle is Ryan Newman. He is impossible to pass. Oh, yeah. That bumper is 14 miles wide. So it's so neat when that scheme ties in to like your thing. I've always thought that was super cool and neat.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point. Next, oh no, another red, white, and blue truck. This time there it is. It's an RFK paint, I guess. I don't remember.
I don't even know if that one is.
I don't remember it being an RFK paint. It's got the RFK swoosh on the side. But Paul's red, white, and blue truck, I don't remember him running this much, but oh my god, it's so pretty. It is such a pretty truck. Corey crushed it.
I think by far one of the coolest thing Corey does is color variations.
Yeah.
Corey is very comfortable with taking a base paint and giving you like 4 variations of it. And it's not normally like the fact where it's like, oh, I have one cool paint and then like 3 standard paints.
Yeah.
The way that he changes his color schemes and the little tweaks that he makes inside of them just make them look way cooler.
Yeah, I honestly wish there was more. There's one truck I really wish he would have posted, and that's the Huggers orange truck from NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Yeah, I love that truck. But he didn't post a picture of it, and I just remembered it. Corey is not very well represented on this little list.
With the fact that he paints so much of our cars.
He paints so many of them. I think you mentioned one of Brody's It was the Daniel Dye one, the Daniel Dye lookalike. That was a good looking scheme that probably I should have included in here. But Corey crushes it when it comes to paints. I mean, he just does such good work. Next, our guy, Josh Matichek. Our guy, Josh Matichek. The yellow Yamaha paint. Not only is it a paint, it's a race winning paint.
A winning paint.
And it's retired.
It is. After two races.
It's just beautiful. I mean, shoot, man, I haven't run the Fago firework truck since New Hampshire because I wanted it. And it's not on the list. Luke wanted it on the list, but it's not on here. My Kevin Harvick truck from last season.
The dedication to that truck made it cool because that flame kit, me and John sat for like 3 days.
I wouldn't even
discussing the flame pattern.
I don't even know what it is. Annoying as shit.
Something.
Is what it is.
So there is actually a story behind this paint and how it came to be.
Yamaha paint. Oh yeah. Yes. I think I know part of the story.
So I love the retro era of motocross very much. So I made a 90s, pop of color, the blues, the white, the greens.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got loud for a second, that's all. Sorry.
It's really funny.
You're good.
So I made a truck of that and ran it at Indy. And Matt noticed it on the stream and they were talking about it and that was it. And then I joined in a Daredevil race and mentioned that I like some of the Daredevil paints. And they started talking about that Yamaha paint, and Matt was like, well, I would really like to see the yellow and black and white 80s Yamaha paint. And Tommy was like, well, there you go. The challenge has been set. So I was challenged to make this paint by the broadcasters.
And then you ended up winning in it.
And then I won in it after two races.
I'd be telling them to challenge me more.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny to me because I associate Yamaha with music.
Yeah.
Because of drums and stuff like that. And I always forget that it's like that whole other section of them and stuff that they do. Exactly.
Next. That is really cool. It kind of stinks that you won in it so early and then retired it. Like,
hey man.
Not that it stinks that you won. It just stinks that it got retired. Yeah. And you know what's funny? Like I'm a big person. Like I said, obviously the Harvick scheme got retired for a little bit. The Fago scheme finally got retired until the championship race because I figured if we're going down, we're going to go down looking good at least.
That's right.
Sometimes some of those schemes need to get brought back out because they got some freaking good juju in them. So just keep that in mind.
Won't say yes or no, but Talladega is going to look good this season.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh man.
Our next paint we're gonna look at Garrett Rainey's syrup truck. This is like the second or third iteration of it, and I see the car inside tag on it. So Nathan painted it. That's a good looking truck.
Man doesn't make a bad Golden Eagle syrup truck. It just doesn't exist.
As somebody who also has a syrup kind of truck, Garrett's is far better than mine is, by like a lot. Another one. The last three, really, including Garrett's. Not the last two. Bentley Reynolds' All-Star Chuck E. Cheese truck. I love how good this truck is. So simple. It just looks
so great.
It's so good, and not a damn scratch on it. And a 6-year-old was driving. That might be the most impressive part.
That truck is so simple, but it's so clean. Like the number and the color scheme, and then the fact that he won in it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know it was a duel, but man, it was great.
Special.
Yeah, I mean, but it's such a good looking truck.
Who doesn't like Chuck E. Cheese?
I've never been.
I went maybe once or twice when I was a kid back in the day.
I probably would not have liked it though.
It's a great place.
It's great.
Lastly, and certainly not least, because I would have voted for this thing till I died. Steve Roman's.
Yes.
It's
honeycomb
fantastic.
truck.
Is it yeah.
I
That was
love
last season, the one that Nathan painted.
Yeah, with the purple outline on the
That
numbers.
thing is so. I mean,
I would've
Roman
voted-
always runs a great truck, but man, that one is gorgeous.
That one is sick. That easily my pick for paint scheme of the year for season 8. There was a lot of great paints. I would have picked that one though, till the end of time. But yeah, maybe we'll do
Fair
this
enough.
again. Maybe we'll do this again at some point. I don't know, but that's what we have for today. Since we've been recording for almost, 3.5 hours now.
Fine.
It's fine.
Any last words, gentlemen?
I believe this is where Ziddle would say, "Thank you, Joshua, so much for coming. It was a blast having you on. You should come back sometime." I don't know exactly how the Mafia boss normally does it, but I think
When
that's
we-
kind of how it works.
When we don't fuck up our audio input.
Then there's that.
Yeah,
Mr.
it was great being here.
Even though you were stuck
Very,
with us
very, very enjoyable.
so long. I've got nothing else. Thank you, Josh, for coming on. Obviously, it was freaking awesome having you on here. Sorry again that we had to record this twice. But honestly, one thing we forgot to do.
What did we miss?
Who's got the longest hair in Venom?
We did forget that.
We did forget that.
I think that I do have the longest hair in Venom.
He's thrown down the emo gauntlet of hair. I'm telling you.
Yes.
I stand by it, man.
We have to commit to the bit if it's going to be the thumbnail.
It's not a phase.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Phase, Mom.
Oh God, don't put the hat on. Like you just went from just went from My Chemical Romance to Limp Bizkit.
Oh, we're ending on that. We'll see you next
Right
time.
on that.
Ziddle might be back. He might not be back. Go follow Motor Stardom on Instagram. Go follow Turn 200 on YouTube. I should link Motor Stardom. I should do that.
Do that thing.
Definitely.
I almost really... I can't do it this
Ruin that.
way, apparently. Yeah. See ya.
Night.
You guys want to go again?
I mean,
It's
I'm
with
fine.
me.
Yeah,
I
whatever
gotta
you
go
want to
the
do.
bathroom, but that's fine.
You can go to the bathroom. We'll take
I'm gonna
a
go check
5-minute
I'll
break.
get you another
Quick.
Mountain Dew or something.
Tomorrow's out of this
Dang
one.
it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so disappointed in myself.
That's honestly hilarious.
I'm still using that part from the first one. That's still going to be the thumbnail.
Oh, 100%.
People just aren't going to know why.
That was hilarious.
It's going to be
I
in
mean,
the
we
after.
We can do the bit still if you want. I'll 100% redo it for you.
Oh, that's such a letdown.
I almost pulled a Garrett from that very first Venom podcast I ever watched.
What do you do?
Well, I picked up the bourbon out of the cabinet and looked at it and thought about it, and then I put it back.
Oh, boy.
That was that night you had Garrett on, and y'all had a lot to drink.
I was fucked up, yeah.
A lot.
That was a good time. All right, well, let's do it again. It's not going to be as funny as it was the first time, but I got to reopen Sim Racer's Hub.
Do we still get the beautiful intro?
Yeah,
I mean, we
I'm
gotta
not-
have the clap.
I'm not clapping again.
Side and
Action.
and
Action.
Icky.
Why would you not leave that? That's awesome. I'm growing a damn mullet again. I don't know why. Probably. I don't know. Mine's just... Oh yeah, your hair is way longer. Mine's just curly. It's not as long as it's been either. It's not a phase. It's not... This is the thumbnail. This is the thumbnail right here.